How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video, and I would imagine that this LR in particular was a surprise to many people just because I don't think he's that popular of a character, especially when it comes to a potential candidate for a legendary rare, and we still don't have Vegito Blue, so I suppose they are kind of throwing out random legendary rares now because, of course, we've got Goten and Trunks, and I don't know where they are going these, basically. But I hope you guys are having a great day as always, and if you do enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. And, of course, let's go ahead and get started with his leader skill. So, pardon me. He gives 4 key to extreme in types as well as a 100% stats boost, and then he also gives 2 key to super in types and a 70% stat boost. So of course it's the exact same leader skill as the LR Goten and Trunks. The only difference is that it's for in types. So it definitely is a bit of an interesting leader skill. I kind of want to go as far as saying that it almost makes Gogeta and Kid Buu irrelevant, just because it would be way more beneficial to run a leader skill like this, especially if you want to combine units like LR Gohan, Super Gogeta, of course Kid Buu, Buuhan. I mean, now that I think about it, the villains for Extreme In aren't exactly the greatest, especially Buuhan not anymore. Kid Buu is a hard hitter, but he just lacks key length, so it had the potential to potentially replace those particular leads, and that is what happens when you kind of decide to split the heroes and villains like they did. But again, that doesn't take anything away from him. It's just a shame that he did get placed on that team. You can still use him as a lead because he is an absolutely incredible unit, and of course you can still use units like Gogeta. Basically, if you want to run him, just make him the lead, and then just make the rest of the units super int types. That still works, because this is essentially equivalent to the Buuhan lead. And then, of course, he causes colossal damage and lowers defense. He causes mega colossal damage with his 18 key super attack, and he gives a 40% attack boost to extreme type allies for 1 turn. So he's a bit of a support unit when it comes to his super attack mechanic, and of course his 18 key super attack. But the issue with this is you do have to run extreme in type units, so you can see where the issues start to arise here. He gets an 80% attack and defensive boost at the start of the turn, and now this is where things get interesting. This part is very comparable to the physical Kid Buu's leader skill, and if you don't know what it does, basically once you are above a certain percentage in terms of your health, that is what the boost is for your units, if that makes any sense. So here it says, gain more attack when HP is higher, up to 70%, gain more defense when HP is lower. So I'd imagine that this is a 50% sort of thing. So to be honest, I'm not completely certain on how this lead, or passive skill I should say, works. So I'm going to do a few testing, or just ask a few people that own him how it actually works. But basically, he can get an additional 70% attack boost when his HP is higher. But because of the team that he's using, I would imagine that that is going to be pretty easy to maintain. But again, it does vary between like nothing and 70%. And then he also gets a defensive boost when your HP is lower. His linked skills are the Hero Clan, Galactic Warriors, Big Bad Bosses, First Conquest, Shattering the Limit, Revival, and Legendary Powers. So I believe, like the Yellow Goten and Trunks, he doesn't have. Actually, I'm not too sure. They may have Fierce Battle. I am actually not certain, because they Dokkan Awaken with. No, I think I'm wrong. I think they Dokkan Awaken with the Metal Swim Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks event. So I am pretty certain I'm wrong. But a good thing about him having Shattering the Limit and Revival at the very least is that he will be sharing the Shattering the Limit link with Margin Vegeta, of course, if you do want to run him on that villain team. And he also has Revival, which is going to share with Golden Frieza. Of course, you're going to be using him on a Revived Warrior team, which consists of Golden Frieza, LR Bojack, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, all those units. And if we move on to the additional information, Bojack's super attack is Galactic Buster. After 18 key, he uses his Ultra Super Attack, Galactic Buster. Okay, that was just completely pointless. Maximum super attack level is 20, 12 key multiplier is 140%, 24 key multiplier is 200%. So he's pretty basic. Nothing stands out about him too much, apart from the fact that he does have a pretty unique passive. He doesn't have Fear and Faith, he doesn't have Nightmare, but he does have the main links for the most part when it comes to villain team. The big one is going to be Big Bad Bosses. But like the majority of a few of the other villains, he does lack when it comes to certain key links for those villain teams like Shocking Speed, Fear and Faith. So he is missing out on the big ones. But you have to keep in mind that on that villain team, you're going to have Super Saiyan Rose that is going to be given the free key with his passive. Unfortunately, the Goku Black doesn't do what he does on the global version of the game. So you're a bit limited when it comes to units that give key that way. But you could always go ahead and just run a support unit. So it turns out I was actually wrong, and they don't have the Fierce Battle link. They actually have Shattering the Limit, so I was wrong, but I suppose let's go ahead and get straight into the leader skill. Like I pointed out earlier, he does have the exact same leader skill as Bojack for the most part, but he gives the 4 key to super agility types as well as the 100% stat boost, and then he gives the 2 key and 70% stat boost to extreme agility types. Now he has multiple different super attacks. I'm surprised they didn't do this with Bojack, but I suppose they kind of couldn't. But his fusion attack between 12 and 17 key is Skinny Gotenks, or it's either going to be the Fat Gotenks, and then 18 key is either Super Saiyan Gotenks or Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. So Skinny Gotenks causes colossal damage, lowers own attack for 1 turn. Fat Gotenks, 50% chance for it to be defense. So, I mean, clearly you want to be aiming for the 18 key super attack the majority of the time. Super Saiyan 1 Gotenks causes mega colossal damage, and for 1 turn defense up by 30%. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, 30% chance for the effect to raise attack and defense. So it's basically random, like the Bojack, but this is his super attack mechanic instead of the passive. Gets a random amount of key, no more than 9 but no less than 3, and a 120% attack boost when performing a super attack. Link skills: Z Fighters, the Innocence, Prodigy, Shocking Speed, Budding Warrior, Shattering the Limit, Legendary Power. So he actually is a better lead than Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and this comes down to the fact that he does give this particular boost with the leader skill, and it mostly comes down to the fact that the heroes and villains of this particular type group do work well together. You can't say the same for Int when it comes to heroes and villains, but when it comes to agility in particular, they do work well, like really well together. Of course, you have Super 17, Super Saiyan Rose, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Margin Vegeta, Super Vegeta, just so many great options. Of course, LR Goten and Trunks, and if we quickly go down to the additional information here, pardon me, Goten and Trunks' super attack and ultra super attack is fusion. For the super attack fusion, they fuse into Skinny or Fat Goten, so we know all about this. Max super attack level is 20, 12 key multiplier is 140%, 24 key multiplier is 200%. So again, when it comes to his link set, he does have Shattering the Limit instead of Fierce Battle, but he does share this with Margin Vegeta, of course. Legendary Power with Margin Vegeta as well. And also the LR androids, if you want to go ahead and run them. Shocking Speed, which they would share with the LR android, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Super 17. I don't feel like maybe now Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is going to work a bit better on this team just because you have more Shocking Speed units. But then you kind of have to make up for the fact that Margin Vegeta doesn't have Shocking Speed. His main link is over in the Flash. So there are a few things that you can, or I should say should, play around with, potentially running a few more support units just to support Margin Vegeta in particular, but they do share Shattering the Limit with Margin Vegeta, so there are a few things that make up for the fact that Margin Vegeta doesn't exactly have the best key link for this particular team. But overall, both incredible units. I will say that LR Goten and Trunks is a bit better just because of what they provide offensively and just overall as a team, because the Bojack passive is just a bit inconsistent. If you are below a certain percentage, you are going to be getting the defensive boost instead of the attack boost. But like I've pointed out many times before in previous videos, defense doesn't really matter too much when it comes to this meta. Granted, it is important in certain scenarios, but for the most part, when it comes to just the overall way that the units play and the way that the game is now, defense isn't really as important as it used to be. But who knows, in the future they could definitely shift the game into a meta where defense is way more important, and for that to happen, they would have to make the event a bit harder. But with the whole limit breaking system coming out, who knows, maybe the whole limit breaking game mode is actually going to be one of the toughest parts about the game instead of the actual Dokkan mode. And maybe the limit breaking of certain units will allow them to make the game a bit more challenging, because I would imagine that at this point a lot of people do own a lot of Transcendent Ultra Res, even if they aren't Dokkan events, and pretty much every single unit in the game is going to get a rebirth at some point, which means that, again, they will most likely have access to the limit breaking system. The first unit to get it is going to be Agility Super Saiyan Goku, of course, but I would imagine that over the course of the game's release, or just over the course of the game's life, they're going to be releasing this to more units, like Blazing pretty much. But I'm excited to see if this new system makes any changes to the leader skills or passives, because if it does, this could potentially allow us to see an increase in difficulty when it comes to Dokkan events, because if they make some of the older units more powerful, you can see where things are going from this point. It will definitely give the developers an opportunity to make the events a lot harder, because if you're making some of the older units that a lot of people have at this point way better in terms of leader skills, passive skills, just any of those areas, it could definitely create multiple opportunities to make the events a lot tougher, which is something that I've been looking forward to for the longest time. But that is pretty much it, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video as always, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one.